Bill has passed in the House. We say appears because until that is official, we cannot say that it has, but it certainly looks like
by 4
it
points,
indeed has, Trey.
Yeah, and he had to put a deadline on it. Sandra, how many times have you been on running out of money watch? We have these little countdown clocks, government shutdown.
Yep. Okay.
The most predictable thing in the world is the calendar, but every year they need a deadline, either Christmas or holiday. So he had to impose a deadline. It just happened to coincide with our 249th
Democrats vote for 8 hours
Trey,
straight.
listen.
Nays are 218. The nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
There it is. There it is. Oh. We saw this earlier. Do you want to see how much funding does the big beautiful bill increase to border funding? Let's take a look at it. Significantly increases it. It provides approximately $170 billion for immigration. They're all going home.
Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
That's right. It's border, not ICE. It's everything. They're increasing the amount of ICE people from
All right, Trey,
5,000 to 15,000.
There you have it. Your reaction, Speaker Johnson, making it official.
It's an insane amount of resources.
I don't know how many miracles it takes to qualify for sainthood or canonization, but Mike Johnson has threaded the needle so many times with a really narrow majority. Look,
that's true. He's brought home the bacon. He has. Good for him.
I think Kevin McCarthy should be replaced.
Yep.
Period. New paragraph. But Mike Johnson has done an amazing job
shitty
with
haircut,
a very
man? Yeah,
narrow
true.
margin.
Very true.
He's just a really modest guy, so he's not going to take a lot of credit for it.
You know, Trey, Republicans really couldn't lose too many votes here. They get this thing with a 4-vote margin. They had 2 members of their own party vote against. The cohesion that you're seeing from this party has to leave Speaker Johnson feeling pretty good about what the next about year and a half has in store.
I would fucking feel like it, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, there's a reason he thanked the White House, because the White House is the reason for the cohesion. So you got James Blair, you have other members of the legislative liaison.
I think people are just sick of the it's like there's like a lot of gaslighting going on, where it's like, if illegals are such a huge positive for the economy, and the more illegals we have, the better the economy is, why is it that every country that the illegals are coming from is bad? Like, really, just think about this for 3 seconds, and you're going to come to the obvious conclusion.
But you also have Donald Trump with a telephone. And no one is better at moving people off of their deeply held previous conviction than President Trump. I've never seen anything like it, whether it's the threat of a primary, whether it's...
It's not a dumb argument. It's only a dumb argument when you overthink things. If you take all of the people in one area and then you put them in the other area is going to be like the area that they were from. It's obvious. Duh. Fucking duh. Like, of course.
Personal relationship, and I would bet you, I haven't spoken to Congressman Fitzpatrick. His brother and I served together. I have a lot of respect for their service to our country, but I bet he would not have been the deciding...
Everybody always thinks that it's not that simple, but I think that a lot of things are actually that simple, and they're intentionally obfuscated by people with ulterior motives.
Vote to see this fail. He may have seen that we have enough of a margin. I can vote the way I want to vote, and it still passes. That is not unheard of in the House, to wait and look and say, okay, you got it. Now I'm going to vote the way that I want to vote.
Okay, so the House is adjourned, but we're also being told right now to expect to hear from Speaker Johnson soon. I can assure you that if he does, we will certainly have that for our viewers.
Yeah, of course. You're xenophobic. Not saying that's good or bad. It just is. Xenophobic? I'm not xenophobic. Like, what? How is it xenophobic for me to not want to import a bunch of people from another country and then have them change the culture and my country? Like, I mean, this is a standard that no other country is held to. Japan doesn't want that. China doesn't want that. Every other country in the world doesn't want that. But somehow America should be expected to just take infinity illegals and infinity immigrants. And if we don't, we're xenophobic. No, we're not. That's ridiculous. The UK wants it? That's a bad example. Yeah, fuck that. Why would I do that? That's not in my favor at all. What happens in Mexico? Do those illegal there? I don't know. You know, for green card, that's how the way the world works. Very Bantam. Yeah, they want to understand patriotism is an unknown subject. It's not even really. What I think is so odd is that everybody understands that every single other country has a defined culture, and they do things to keep that culture in one way or another static, right? And obviously there are changes over time, migration happens, but the moment that anybody in a Western country applies that same logic, that same type of protectionism, somehow it's racism or xenophobia. No, it's not. It's ridiculous. And I don't think anybody should play by those games to begin with. It's not worth taking seriously.
It was 218 to 214. You saw after the gavel went down, chants of USA, yeah. USA. Brian Fitzpatrick, the Republican lawmaker you just mentioned from Pennsylvania, who was a no here. Speaker Johnson was asked about his no in the procedural vote, who sort of brushed aside his concerns in that moment. I think he sort of indicated there was no bringing him around. We can pop this live shot. This is where we're about to see Speaker Johnson speak here shortly. He said, quote, following the procedural vote, that he tried to encourage him to get to a yes, though Johnson acknowledged Fitzpatrick has, quote, got a number of things he's just concerned about. Regardless, he made it happen, Speaker Johnson, Trey.
Good for him.
Yes, he's a miracle worker. This is not the first one, Sandra. I mean, he's got a historically small margin. He's got a fractious, non-monolithic party. I mean, thank God Gates is gone. Some of the biggest troublemakers are gone. But this is still really, really impressive what he's been able to do the first 7 months of this year, especially since it took Trump getting involved to even get him over the speaker deadline.
Yeah.
You know, Trey, you look at Congressman Fitzpatrick, right, and he's in a Harris district in 2024. There aren't many of those districts remaining where you have a Republican representing a district that was won by a Democratic presidential candidate and vice versa. We are really seeing a much different mix-up in Congress where those middle-of-the-road districts have begun to disappear, no?
No, that's right, but they are the majority makers. Yeah. So California, New York, New Jersey, those are blue states. But
what they really need to do is they need to play on that identity politics shit. Like that's that in my opinion, that is the winning election strategy. If you play on like the trans stuff and like the illegal alien stuff, that will win you the election because it's indefensible. And these people refuse to like give any ground on it. So you can just keep pushing them and just keep attacking them on this over and over and over. What is a woman? Illegals can't vote? Yeah, okay. So, but they do count in the census, right? And if they count in the census, then they give that area more votes in the House. So they can't vote directly, but they have an influence on legislative policy. It's, again, more dishonesty.
Johnson would not be given a speech right now if it weren't for Republicans like Mike Lawler who were able to win in blue states. And it's different winning in New York than it is winning in Macon, Georgia. And Republicans have to understand that. The same argument won't work in the South that will work in the Northeast. And the party's got to be big enough to embrace that.
Trey, we're watching live what appears to be
they're taking a photo
where
because it
Speaker
popped
Johnson
off.
is going to speak soon. Obviously, he's going to take a victory lap, but then it's get right to work here. A lot of promises made to the American people, Trey, and one of which, as far as the economic promises made, I mean, this is big promises of growth, but already an administration that has shown a lot of growth. But surely, keeping the taxes low.
I mean, at this point, right? I mean, the tariffs seem to have worked. Things seem to be going pretty well. I mean, I would say things are kind of improving. It seems like by every observable metric. So yeah, I mean, there you go.
Lower was a huge goal and a huge must.
It's not a shock to anybody.
For this
It's
administration,
obvious.
and you're going to hear them take a victory lap, but it's get right to work after that.
And selfies. There's also selfies.
Observable metric, are you serious? Well, no. I mean, you just look at the stock market, you look at the amount of job growth, you look at unemployment, you look at any of that.
Well, I mean, the security, you can take a victory lap on that right now. I mean, the border's a non-issue. It's going to take a while for the manufacturing jobs to manifest themselves. It's going to take a while for the next year's tax return
look at the eggs,
to come to fruition. So preach patience, but also take the immediate victories. I mean, we don't even talk about the border anymore. Trump has closed the border. Who would have thought that was possible?
That's true. Yeah, he's right about that. It's a dead subject because it's already finished.
2 years ago. Take the immediate. Mike is not going to brag. I can tell you that. He's a very genuinely modest guy. He'll give the credit to others, but he will push back on what Hakeem said.
Large chunk of the Republican conference in your screen right there. Speaker Johnson expected soon to take a bit of a victory lap.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click.
I think that really this is a huge Trump W. It is. It's a massive Trump W. I mean, it's the big bill. It finally fucking passed. I mean, that's massive for him.
We're actually cutting spending in this bill, getting rid of a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse, putting work requirements, for example, in a program like Medicaid so that the truly disabled and needy will be able to get better access to Medicaid because those able-bodied adults who are turning down work, the 35-year-old who's sitting at his mom's basement playing video games.
Is this the Fell For It Again award that they keep trying to talk to me about? They've declared war on gamers.
The 35-year-old who's sitting at his mom's basement playing video games is going to have to go get a job again.
Everybody started tagging me in this, by the way. As soon as this happened, everybody was like,
Good things for the economy, but it's also something that helps reduce waste, fraud, and abuse and saves hundreds of billions of dollars in those programs.
Can you think about how many protesters are going to be taken off the streets with this? That's it. Yeah, because jobs are plentiful, easy to find, positions fill up quickly, right? Yeah, go on LinkedIn and give it a try. There's nothing that Republicans don't just have a stereotype for that's not wrong. The thing is that they are right. They actually are right that there's a bunch of, like, this is what I used to do. I used to sit at home collecting government assistance, being paid to do nothing but jack off and play World of Warcraft. And go to Taco Bell. Oh my God, some of the best years of my life. I feel bad for the kids nowadays, right? That sucks.